Hey, how's it going? I'm Dan Fradenburgh and I got white. I'm a commercial real estate guy and so is Brandon Jenkins, my guest today. How are you doing today, Brandon?
Good, Dan. Good to be here. Good to be
Excellent.
here.
Excellent. Now it's going to auto abort if you don't do your first moves fairly quickly, but after that it has plenty of time here. There we go. Excellent, excellent. So do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, so I am Brandon Jenkins, and commercial real estate is not my primary forte. I I prefer real estate investments to other investing. I'm a limited partner in a few different apartment buildings, but my primary role, I have three. So I'm leader development professor at the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island. I have a life insurance agency, and I also have a coaching business, tier one coaching.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. That's exciting stuff. And just before I hit record, I ended up mentioning that I've got a fragile ego, and I'm always concerned about a ringer coming on. But I've actually had that experience now already. So I actually had one person come on who was trained in chess back in Soviet Russia, and he's actually got a worldwide recognition, a recognized chess score. And like, are you familiar with the ratings, like as far as like how much is high and how much is, you know, still more or less amateur there, Brandon?
No, I'm not. I'm not a complete rookie, although I would say I'm a rookie. I've played a few rounds of chess before.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Right. Right on. So, it's amazing now. I always thought that I'd never have the resources to really get into this, and it's so weird that real estate is the way that I've actually been able to make this happen. It's something that I always wanted to do. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. All right, awesome. So yeah, I'm trying out something kind of new based off of what I've been practicing with black.
Hmm.
So we're gonna see how that works out. I'm gonna actually, which one am I
How
more
long have you been
concerned
playing
about?
chess?
So my grandfather taught me back when I was little. But I lived in a small town, and that meant that I ran out of opponents really, really quickly. And I always lamented that fact, and that's why it's so great that like this is truly me living a dream. And I should plug my new show that our first episode of that is coming out soon. It's called Because I Wanna, and I'll tell you the idea behind it. I don't think it's being too pessimistic to say that there are quite a few people in real estate who, I don't want to say that they have a loose relationship with the truth, but yeah, like they'll have deceptive practices, okay? And the thing is, like, I'm sure it's not every 20 something who, pays attention to some YouTube influencer course who ends up making up stories like, oh well, yeah, this Lambo that I rented for the day, and this Airbnb that I booked for the night, and this $30,000 watch that I rented for the day, you know, they're real indicators of how successful I am. Yeah, and it's just it's not great, and that's what I'm trying to emphasize is that if that's what you're expecting from real estate, I think you're barking up the wrong tree. But one promise that I think becoming a full time real estate person a promise that it can keep is that you get to have a lot more decision making in your own lifestyle. And I think that one's pretty fair. And so that's why the other show is called Because I Wanna. And it's I know that I'm good. It's a real estate show, and it's going to be talking with the people who I'm interested in talking to, and real estate is going to be a really frequent part of it. But that's the other new production that's coming out on the scene, and it's just exciting to be able to do things like this and write it off on my taxes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So because I want because I wanna, it seems like, and challenge me if I miss this, I was concentrating on the chessboard. You're gonna find it takes a lot more of my skills to
Right, it's switching gears. It's so difficult.
Yeah,
It's so hard. Okay,
it's so tough.
so because
But
I'm just
but
making sure that yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say because I wanted the premise is when you do get into real estate full time, the the options that it frees up for you to take in other areas of your life, it frees up your time to kind of spend it doing what you want to be doing versus having to go do something to earn a paycheck or something like that. Is that
Right.
right?
Yes, that's exactly it. It's if you really cannot be away, like I guess one situation I had was like I lived in Taiwan for 15 years. And one of the reasons why you don't really want to, I'm just adjusting the screen here a little bit, see if I can make it a little bit clearer. But one
Yeah.
of the reasons why it's a bad idea to move to the other side of the world is that somebody important to you, like the person who raised you, might die on you. And the thing is, I was very careful because I saw the writing was on the wall that my work in Taiwan teaching. If you take time off, there's a high likelihood you're going to come back to your job not being there. So, like if you go visit for any reason whatsoever, like major milestones or things like that, then is not really viable. And sure enough, that's something that did actually happen to me was my mom did pass away while I was out in Taiwan. And like that's one of the issues. It's time that you never get back, and I think it's really sad that so many people are in that kind of situation where they make choices where they can't be freed up for this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
And as a real estate person, like maybe you won't be able to keep up with your commitments universally, but at least the really important ones, I think there's a much higher chance that you'll be able to be there for your family. And I'm a big believer that family is the reason for all these things that we do. So if you're shortchanging yourself on your time with your family, you're shortchanging your entire life, as far as I'm concerned. So, but
Yeah.
that's why I like sitting here and playing chess on a podcast. You get to really relate on like a completely different level because you're already flexing brain power and decision making and all that kind of stuff, and then you're trying not to look like a knob on the chessboard. It's terrible.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, I think
funny
it's
stuff.
unavoidable for me to look like a novice on the chessboard. But what something you just said, it really resonated with me in that I think like no matter what you want to do, whether it's real estate or not, I think that getting clarity kind of first on what matters to you, like you mentioned family, how and it's obvious how important that is to you. Um, but clarity on what matters most to you in life. family, core passions, core values, purpose, cause. And even if those things are being redefined, you're redefining those throughout your life. I think that making the space and putting in the inner work to figure that stuff out first is key if you want to ever align your decisions and align the work you're doing with that versus what I think a lot of people end up doing. And I've been calling it the golden path fallacy. I think a lot of people, they end up just doing kind of what everybody else is doing. Not that that's wrong, per se, but you graduate, you get a job, you climb the ladder. Um, Depending on what career you're in, you take these different roles so that you can climb that ladder within within that structure. Investing, you're all we hear is you earn a paycheck and you max out your 401ks, your IRAs, and you just dollar cost average for 40 years and you don't touch it. And then there's a magical number, right? So all of that to me is golden path fallacy. And you actually may find that you're doing something that does align with you, but if it's unintentional and if you're not really sure why you're doing it, to me it's still the fallacy. So the fallacy is like becoming aware of why you're really doing the things that you're doing. And I think that that's just it's critical if you ever want to kind of carve your own path. The only true golden path to me is the one you carve for yourself, right? Based on what you think is important. And so if real estate can provide that for you because you've already figured out first what's important, then then real estate is a good tool then for you to use because it keeps you aligned. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it definitely does, and I think it highlights like one of the things that I'm changing a little bit, and I'm hoping people in my circle are happy with this. I'm pivoting my personal branding to emphasize the part of my CRM past. I'm emphasizing the digital security component of it a little bit more. And the reason for that is because a few people have been burned recently in the syndications they've invested in, or maybe they got into some program that basically just taught them how to raise capital, and the guru or the mentor, they just kind of conveniently glossed over the fact that there are securities laws at play. Then and you need to know these, and you need to be careful about those sorts of things. So that's what I'm emphasizing more and more in my personal branding these days right now. Even though one of the things I'm known for is 506B me, which is it's basically simplifying that entire process. Just saying, like, because the law really seems to require that you, if you're going to be taking non-accredited investors with a 506B exemption, then whoever the syndicator or the issuer is, they need to be able to show some sort of documentation that they knew the level of sophistication, appetite for risk, core competencies they're intending to contribute, and basically their entire financial situation. So that's what I've been up to, which is already kind of interesting, I think. But this it just feels decadent being able to make it how I make money every day is to meet up with real estate people, talk about the state of things, and sit here and go on an emotional roller coaster as I try to defend these poor little white figures and the guy with the little.
I love it. I think 506B me was the first thing that I ever saw. I mean, I saw some content from you, and I think when I connected with you originally on LinkedIn, I think that's what you were in the middle of. You might have been in the beginning of it, marketing it. And I always thought that was a really unique concept.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So I'm basically the eternal skeptic, and part of that, like I always wanted to be the digital security guy who still had his head in reality. Because the problem is, when it comes to real security, you have to be crystal clear about who you're attempting to protect against. And because, like, you're talking about order of magnitude of level of expense, depending on like how big is the team that hates your guts, okay?
Hmm.
Because if you got one guy and he's super talented and the competition has 20 and they're all similar level, experience, education, whatever it is, then it's a completely, like you need to have a huge NVIDIA sized budget, right?
Hmm.
So, so what I was really focusing on with 506 Beamy is because I know the tracking that is used in affiliate tracking software for any affiliate promotions. I knew that there are holes in the explanation that an insider in tech would be aware of that a judge or an attorney would probably not know. Okay, so if you're identifying something, so really what I'm talking about, I guess, is that since we're attributing dollars and cents to people, this is people's bread and butter. So this tracking has to be bulletproof. So the problem of affiliate marketing is a lot of it is cookie based. So when you sign up for something like a webinar, because the person was cross promoting it, then you get a cookie on your device and it applies it to a particular email address. And so then when you visit again, if you use the same browser and it asks you for the same email address and all that kind of stuff, then everything's all on the up and up. But if you end up switching from, say, your desktop to your phone, then that cookie's not there to say, it's like, hey, this is the person who actually referred you. And everything becomes a disaster once they switch email addresses, because when they first filled it in, they're like, this is just my spam, whatever email address. And then when they're signing into your webinar, they're using the one, I'd better give my proper email address, the one that I actually use. And then some
Hmm.
poor sap has to sift through that to figure out who actually deserves the commission. But anyway, the long story short, it means that I think that if there was a really malicious attorney, I think that syndicators in general would have a real problem in their hands with CRMs in general. And it's just and the problem is plausible deniability. Because most people, what they do with their CRMs is they just make a record of a phone call after they do a welcome call.
Hmm.
And if you listen to how I just said that, I said you do this. I did not say they do this. And because of that, I think plausible deniability is maintained. And so that's what 506 BME was meant to cure, is to give real action by the potential partner. And that way, if they say, it's like, no, 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 I was publicly solicited, that person didn't know my level of sophistication, your Honor, I'm not sophisticated at all, starts eating crayons in court,
Yeah.
show exactly how sophisticated they are.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, I
Yeah.
think you'd have a problem, but 506 BME has a plan for that, which is, but you guys can check it out. It's 506 B me, so it's a 506B and then a dot and then me. But that should be in the show notes anyway. So that's what that's all about. And I was trying to go like, okay, so for a while now, people have been paying me six figures to be their full time guy, taking care of all that kind of stuff. So how can I package that like the most, product-ish, hands-off-ish type of version? How can I do that for people? And that's what 506B me was. So
That's pretty cool. So what's the original intent of the 506B rule?
right. Okay. Okay. So the main thing. So at the end of the day, it's tough to distinguish a legitimate business raising capital from just a straight out Ponzi scheme. So a Ponzi scheme would be that new investors come in and that pays off the existing investors, but there's no underlying source of profit. It's really just swindling people. That's a Ponzi scheme.
Mhm.
But if a legitimate business is doing it, what are the promises they're making? They're basically the same. They're saying, okay, you give me this amount of money, and in return for that, you're going to get this percent of the profits. Which I found out just this week that apparently you can sponsor a gambler, like a poker player. That's a thing, and it's not selling a security, which is super weird to me because it's definitely selling passive interest in somebody else's effort. But it's so funny that to find that out, that like, it's absolutely an exception. If it's actual gambling, then it's not a security.
Yeah.
But if it's secured by real estate syndicated deal, then oh no no no, that's yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
it's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. So the 506B to me, and so maybe this is, I always thought it was just, right, you don't have to be accredited, but since you don't have to be accredited, that's why there needs to be some kind of personal relationship between the syndicator and the investor, because I guess, right, legislation, the law would say, is trying to say that, well, then that means that the investor actually knew the person and had an opportunity to build trust and understand that person, and right, and then also on the flip side, the syndicator would feel more responsibility to make sure that they're taking care of the investor and protecting the investor's capital, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I want to emphasize at this point that neither one of us are financial advisors, as far as I know, nor attorneys, nor CPAs, nor LMNOPs, QR, whatever it is. And so anything we say is for entertainment value only. But the skinny, if you really pin down a securities attorney and you say, so let's say I've got a real need to wind up in an orange jumpsuit. Okay, how exactly does somebody go from raising capital to suddenly in an orange jumpsuit? And so the answer of what the action that's actually illegal, apparently, about selling, about when you raise capital, it's that you are selling a security without an exemption or a license. And 506B is an exemption. Okay, and
Mm.
you still need to let the SEC know that that's what you're up to, but you can include sophisticated non-accredited investors up to a limit of 30 something. And but you need to have documentation of the substantive relationship you had, so that you can prove you didn't publicly solicit them. Because 506Bs are only for private syndications that you're not allowed to talk about in public, or
Yeah.
else you blow your exemption. So basically, if a non-accredited investor could prove that they were publicly solicited, and then somehow prove that they also weren't sophisticated enough, then they'd have a case. But the consequences for selling a security without an exemption or a license is that you have to pay everybody back plus interest. And of course, if you're raising capital, then it's because you don't have enough money to pay everybody back plus interest. So that means you're probably going to wind up going bankrupt.
Hmm.
And when you go bankrupt, you can wind up facing criminal allegations of fraud. And that is what can get you into orange jumpsuit territory, from my understanding. So, it's I know that kind of conversation makes it so that I'm just a ray of sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
100%.
but that's what I understand. But I don't know if you've seen any of the episodes of Chess with commercial real estate investors, though. But one of the most fun things that I've got on the go is whenever an unforced error is made, then there's dun dun dun.
Okay. Did I'm
So so
assuming I made.
so so
I'm assuming I made.
Oh, no, 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 no. I thought I made one just now, but my eyes were playing tricks on me. So
Okay.
like I think I'm all right on that one. Yeah, but like that's the thing. So I need to level with the audience here. Like part of the reason why I thought this would work is because, like with Hot Ones, the YouTube show where they eat the spicy chicken wings and it gets more and more uncomfortable. And I was like, well, how can we do that but make it where like we gradually, like, I don't know, resent each other more and more as the interview goes on? And like what better way to do that than chess, right? so
I love it.
so that's what's going on here. And like I certainly feel like I'm getting a run for my money today for sure. um okay, so if I do that, I think I'm better to back off, so I'm gonna. Yeah, so this is definitely keeping me on my toes, but I need to level with the audience about that because we don't hear the sound effects. We hear the clicks of the pieces,
Hmm.
and so like it's all serious and intense. But like what the audience hears is like a pawn will take like a bishop, and you'll hear the distinct sound of a guy getting hit in the face with a shovel. And usually when you hear that, you can't help but crack a smile. And it's very peculiar for us to be like serious as cancer, discussing real estate. Well, see,
Hmm.
like there, so that I don't know if there was a dun 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 there or not, but I guess I'm gonna find out. Judging by the change in point gap, I think there was, but I
Uh,
can.
are you look? Yeah. So you're looking over to the
So
right, and yeah. See, I don't even know how to read the
yeah.
scores or the numbers over there. I don't know any of that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if you're looking at my screen or not, but oh, by the way, I should let you know you have a minute and 47 seconds when it's on your turn to find a way to beat me. Okay, so I'm telling you that on my time here.
Okay.
But we can definitely do a rematch right after because this is really really fun. But yeah, that it shows that I have 1 point of material ahead of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just simplify. But yeah, this is a pretty intense game as a whole. I'm not gonna do that. I might do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this. Okay. I better be careful. I might start talking to myself. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
funny. So, like F1 driving, I was surprised to find out that it was considered a sport back when I found out, but apparently it's one of the most exhausting, any kind of race driving is apparently, oh, I gave that up. That was terrible. Oh boy, this is going downhill. Good thing I sent an unrated link. My score would drop like a stone. Because yeah, I'm in trouble now. I'm behind in material, and I'm a little bit locked up. I think I see how I can pivot around actually, but I'm probably going to win on clock. So now I need to be super distracting. So maybe I
Mm.
should tell some jokes. I was telling a renowned dad joke guy. You got 56 seconds. A guy walks up to an ice cream stand. He says, "I want a chocolate sundae with sprinkles." And the clerk says, "Crushed nuts?" He says, "No, laryngitis." Damn, that didn't work at all. Okay, what about this? No, what about that? Yeah, sure. What about this? Okay. Oops. Yeah, you also gain an extra 10 seconds, so I guess I probably shouldn't be scrambling the way that I am to keep the pressure up. But yeah, that's the lowest I think I've ever sunk on this show. So be proud that that's the first time I've resorted to flat out joke telling, dad joke telling, to try and run the clock. Okay, yeah, I think I do have to go. Okay, so now, I guess I do that. Is that how I do it? Let's try that. It's intense. It's
Mm.
intense. Yeah, I haven't gone aggro with my king yet, but you know that's coming.
Mm.
See, and that's the thing I love about this game is there's this certain cat and mouse aspect to it, and
Yeah.
it's so much fun. You know, it is when I see a game in the middle, I need to see how it's gonna end. I need to I ooh. Yeah, I gotta stop playing your game and start playing mine. Actually, yeah, I guess that will. I think I can still make it. Yeah, I can make it. See? Oh man. Uh it's I never thought I'd make a show where I end up picking on my guests.
No, it's good.
But
You knew, you see, you
but this
saw
is
I was
yeah,
trying to, I was like, this is the last ditch effort. I get this, I make it a queen again. And boom, you knew what I was
right,
doing.
right, right. So I had a crazy amount of anxiety at the prospect of actually playing against humans. I was really cool about doing the puzzles. I was really cool about playing against the AIs.
Yeah.
But you got 40 odd seconds here. Um, but yeah, I ripped the Band-Aid this year.
It's the only way to
So if
get
I
better, right?
go,
Got to start, got to rip the band-aid off.
yeah, that's exactly it. And so I ended up basically boot camping myself. And so last year I played 7,000 puzzles, but I ended up doing like it's like 2,600 games in the first chunk of this year. So that band-aid is ripped. It's official.
Mm.
But I think I practiced just about the right amount because like one of the problems is that like of all the looks on the internet, I think smug is the worst. And so I'm very glad that I found the person in commercial real estate who, like it's I might as well not even get out of bed to play this guy because it's going to be so one-sided.
Yeah,
But I got to be kept on my toes.
that's right.
9, 8. What you gonna do? 5, 4. Quick, quick. Ooh, okay. Oh wow, it's a bigger interval. You got 20 seconds instead. Far out. Okay, so you can't get anything there. So if I go that way, I go with that one. Um, I know it can pass. I should probably just bail on that one and get this over here. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. You can have a pawn. Enjoy your pawn. I hope it's delicious.
I'll take it. One more
Yeah,
snack
because
before it's
one
all
of these
over.
guys over here. Yeah, exactly. Because one of these guys has very big aspirations as a cross-dresser.
Mm.
Yeah, these two pawns over here, they are categorically thinking, give me the crown and the dress, because I want to be a queen. Uh-oh.
I can't do that. Yeah.
Apparently, so chess these chess programs, these chess platforms, they cram all sorts of ridiculous vocabulary down your throat. And one of them is apparently there's this German term for in a chess game where you force them to make moves that they don't want to do. I should
What's that
probably
term? What is
learn
that
proper
term?
pronunciation is. I think it's zugzwang or something like that. Zugzwag. I don't know. Something like that. But it's like you don't want to move. Oh, wow, you got it. Unless I stay there.
What's that thing? I watched that game. I forget what it was called, or that movie on Netflix. She was like the chess
Oh,
genius.
Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, and they just
Yeah, quest.
I just want to like I just want to flick my I just want to flick the king over right now. What's that called when they do that?
Oh, there's a resign button. Oh, but that, yeah, there you go. The time
Maybe.
open at it anyway. So there you go. That was really awesome. I enjoyed that. You definitely kept me honest on that. There's no two ways about that. That was scary. So it also says there were 7 mistakes and 4 blunders. It doesn't say who
Okay.
those were, but we've already hit our time. This has been absolutely fantastic. Now the two of us, we ended up meeting on LinkedIn through Yona's challenges and things
Yep.
like that. And I'm lucky enough to have a very distinct last name. It makes me super duper easy to find on LinkedIn. And so I encourage you to do that. Of course, if you really want to search me up on Amazon.com and check out some of my books, my different publications on the subject of different business related skill building, then that's great as well. But Brandon, I imagine LinkedIn is probably one of the best ways to reach you, but website, email, what's the best way to reach
Yeah,
out?
Brandon Jenkins on LinkedIn. There are a couple other Brandon Jenkins on there. So I'm the Brandon Jenkins who has tier one life insurance and tier one coaching. My best website to go to is tier one coaching, all spelled out TIERONECOACHING.com, tier1coaching.com.
All right, beautiful. And I really appreciate you joining. And I just want to emphasize as well, if you really want to do me a solid, you can hit the downright hideous subscribe button that's just down there, because if enough people hit that button, then YouTube will actually start to pay for these videos instead of me. And I think that would be amazing. But the trade-off to you, just to be clear, is that my videos may show up on your list of suggestions, but you can feel free to ignore those suggestions, because quite frankly, I just appreciate the fact that you spent this time with me. Just like Brandon, I appreciate you joining me today. This has been
Yep,
fantastic.
it's been awesome, Dan. Definitely a unique podcasting experience for me. Thanks, brother.
Does nothing but put more money in the pot.
Right.
If we talk about just the investor side, I mean, Shane talked about the sponsor side a little bit. I'll talk about the investor side. Okay, so you want the most money in terms of return with the least risk. All right, you want to do it yourself, you can go get 13 or 14%. You're going to do all the underwriting, it's not going to be passive.
If you bet, probably not.
I think I'd have to bet at least 2,500 before they fold.
And the pot is
4,000.
4,000. Yeah, I think you're right, but I'd rather just check.
Okay.
First position, you have the right of collection and the right of foreclosure or sheriff's sale, well, wherever you're at.